Welcome back. During this session, we'll share more detail about getting started in the e-commerce sector. Please remember that as a micro, small and medium-sized business, you're essential to the sustained economic development of your country and region. According to the World Bank, formal SMEs contribute up to 60% of total employment and up to 40% of national income in emerging economies. In many countries, the majority of SMEs are led by women as we orchestrate ways to participate in our country's economy. This is excellent news for contributing to ongoing social change and genuine economic inclusion. With that in mind, let's take that first step for inclusion by making some big decisions and addressing the 5 questions we discussed earlier. Firstly, what products do consumers need? Earlier, we established that the demand for authentic, handmade and traditional products produced in Africa continues to increase. This includes clothing, homeware, handbags, shoes and jewelry. Very often, the interest in products from our continent also includes traditional beauty products such as shea butter and even foodstuffs such as cassava flour and dried fish. In these instances, it's important to understand what would appeal to potential customers. Question 2, what is unique about my product? Do people know about it? Is it appealing locally and could it be appealing internationally? When it comes to selling your products online, it is essential to bear in mind that people buy from people. You most likely will never meet your customer, but they want to get to know you and your story. Most modern-day consumers want to know that their support of your small business, in particular, is making a difference, and they will continue to support you if they form an emotional connection with you, your brand, and your products. To support the start of an effective relationship, we strongly encourage you to firstly tell the story about the uniqueness of your products. To be sure to include a lot of information about the materials used, sizing, fit, and how the products are crafted. It should be detailed, comprehensive, and use expressive words that capture the imagination of the prospective buyer. As with a traditional sale, it is important that the customer establishes an emotional connection with the product or service as soon as possible and helps them make an informed decision before they part with their hard-earned cash. Thirdly, be bold but fair in the price attached to your product. You've worked hard to produce it, and commanding a fair price helps you to reinvest in your business, to pay your bills, and potentially grow so that you may employ more people. Next, we focus on whether you're able to sell your products online and internationally. E-commerce is most often conducted via 6 digital channels, including selling via your own website, which includes having and hosting your own website with online basket and checkout function. Online marketplaces, which is listing your products on an online marketplace such as Amazon, eBay, or iTunes, for example. There's software as a service, which allows you to sell your product online through a website that is hosted by a third-party service provider, such as Shopify. And then, of course, there's chat apps, which involve, for instance, WeChat, and then social stores, such as the utilization of Facebook marketplaces. Selling through USSD is also an option and essentially involves the use of basic phones with 2G connection. Many entrepreneurs have the impression that they must have a formal website to begin trading online. This is simply not true. The 3 most popular channels in Africa and most emerging markets are selling via either your own website, through an online marketplace, and most popularly, the use of social media, particularly Facebook, WhatsApp, and Instagram. Social media in particular is an easier route to market and is very fluid in adding and editing content. Another key consideration is that in order to successfully sell to consumers around the world, it is essential to understand what is acceptable for international transportation and what may not be. In the international air express industry, we differentiate between restricted and prohibited commodities. Prohibited commodities, for instance, are products that the destination or receiving country does not allow to enter their border and may, for example, include foodstuffs. Sometimes prohibited commodities may simply not travel on an aircraft because they are flammable or toxic, and so cannot be accepted for transportation. In the case of restricted items, the customs authorities may prescribe certain conditions for goods to meet in order to be acceptable for importation in the destination country. This may, for instance, include the fumigation of wooden carvings prior to import into Germany. There's loads of information available online to help you make an informed decision, and your logistics partner will also be able to provide further guidance. Question number 4, how will fulfillment happen? This is an important one, and as a reminder, fulfillment is quite a broad subject and includes storage or warehousing of your goods, preparation for sending, and the actual transportation options available for getting your product delivered intact to your customer. We know that 91% of consumers look for the available delivery options before reaching the checkout. As a small business owner, you may not need warehousing options right away, but you will definitely need to consider how you package your goods so that they arrive at their destination in excellent condition. Factor this into your planning. Also, bear in mind that any transport company is compelled to charge you based on the actual weight or on the size of the package, whichever is the greater. Being charged based on the size of the package is called volumetric weight billing, so it's essential to keep your package as conservative as possible to avoid unforeseen costs. When it comes to shipping options, our experience in working with e-commerce customers all around the world tells us that they like to have options. A slow service option when the delivery is not urgent, and a fast one when they're super excited to receive their awesome product from Africa. The latest independent research confirms that millennials would choose a retailer solely based on its delivery options, so most online consumers prefer an express international option so that they receive their goods as soon as possible after making payments, are assured of visibility from pickup to delivery, and through a reputable, familiar brand. These are all important elements to bear in mind when making a decision on which transport options to offer and which service providers to work with. Question number 5, and this is a big one. What barriers should you expect, for instance, the receipt of payments, packaging, understanding customs regulations, etc.? Whilst the opportunities for success in the e-commerce sector are tremendous, it is important to bear in mind that barriers to entry do exist. Some of them are real, whilst others are perceived challenges and can be overcome. These may include complex customs processes, the absence of payment options, a lack of awareness of customs charges payable at the time of importation, and sometimes even costly and painful returns. These are real concerns and should be addressed promptly to avoid unnecessary disruptions to your business and to avoid a poor customer experience. For instance, customs processes can be complex and intimidating, but we must make every effort to be prepared to navigate them in a compliant way. After all, the customs authorities in every country have the important role of protecting their borders and complying with local laws and regulations. An example of such compliance is to bear in mind that when exporting to Europe, you will have to take 2 key actions, including providing an accurate goods description on your waybill and providing your commercial data electronically. And then, of course, there is the all-important role of customs in applying customs charges in the form of duties, VAT, or both. Here it is important to understand the role of the country de minimis. Simply put, a de minimis is the threshold set by countries under which no customs duties or taxes are applied to goods on international shipments. In some countries, de minimis shipments are subject to a low cap or tight restrictions. In other countries, customs authorities may set a more generous level. Some countries allow goods below specific values to be imported free of duties. If goods are below the de minimis value, customs procedures are simplified and duty-free. This will make cross-border e-commerce cheaper, faster, and more predictable. The United States of America, for example, has an $800 de minimis for personal imports. It's no surprise then that it is one of the largest e-commerce destinations globally and may be an attractive market for you to focus on. Where customs charges are applicable, you may elect to prepay them as part of a single charge to your customer or have the receiver pay them on receipt. Either way, there are benefits and drawbacks to both approaches, and an informed decision must be made. Fortunately, you do not have to navigate these requirements alone, and your preferred logistics specialists will be able to share more information about how to do so compliantly and efficiently. When it comes to payments options, it's critical to define what payments options are available to you. This can be done by engaging with your local financial services providers, including a number of banks that have dedicated SME programs. They will support you to receive your international payments in-country securely and also provide guidance on sound financial management practices. At this time, it is also essential to appreciate the importance of managing your customer data very carefully for both financial and legal reasons. Be sure to verify what your own country laws prescribe about the capturing, storing, and sharing of customer information. Last but not least, consider your position with regards to returns policy. They're usually costly since both customs charges and transportation expenses are incurred. Be clear with your potential customers on what to expect and under what circumstances you will support returns. So that's a lot of information to consider. It's not easy, but it's easier than you may think. The great news is that there are a number of entrepreneurs who've already begun their e-commerce journey and have generously shared their experiences with us to fast-track our own learning. Let's hear from one of them now.
My name is Ruby Bois. I'm the owner of Kua Designs. I'm from Ghana, West Africa. Woo woo! Ghana is home, so of course that's where my heart is. We are warm, we are hardworking, we are creative, we are fun. Right down the street is the beach, the people, and the food, because you know we make the best jollof rice. Kua is a luxury women's and children's brand. So I named my company after my mother, but the KUA also stands for keeping us authentic. Kua, I'll say, started out of passion. I took some classes in jewelry making, loved it so much. Eventually ended up getting a degree in jewelry design. Fast forward some 5 years, I moved back home because it meant a lot to me to actually invest in the Ghanaian economy. One of the biggest challenges was the logistics. How do I get the products from Ghana to the customers around the world, really? There was a bit of a stigma shipping out of Africa. People were still wondering, is this something that we could trust? Or even just buying online from Africa. I employ Ghanaians and we keep growing. I house 50% of the employees. They live and work at Kua. So I'd say that is a success because it helps with the Ghanaian economy. On the front end, we've had some celebrities wear some of our things, and we've also had some major orders from a company like Home Goods. E-commerce is such an important part of any business now. If you can get 100 sales in Ghana, can you imagine how many more you get around the world? DHL really solved my logistics issue. The fact that they can either pick the package up, the fact that we could tell our customers they'll get it between 2 at most 5 days, the fact that the brand is trusted. So if I put on my website that ships with DHL, people do trust that they will get their product. That alone is one headache off me, knowing that I can just focus on getting the products made, putting on the website because shipping is being handled by DHL. DHL has helped me become more connected by giving me the confidence knowing that anywhere in the world that somebody orders my product, I can get it to them within a reasonable timeline.
Thank you for joining the DHL e-commerce masterclass. We hope that you found it insightful and it has inspired you to power up your own e-commerce potential. Remember that there is a lot of information available online, loads of stakeholders in the public and private sector readily available to support you, and most importantly, a community of entrepreneurs just like you who are readily available to engage and share their experiences so that, together, we can all succeed. If you would like some more information about how DHL can support you to power up your e-commerce potential, please access www.dhl.com/discover. This portal contains a wealth of information, advice, and hyperlinks to everything you need to know about what we've discussed during our masterclass. We wish you every success and look forward to continuing the conversation with you.